We've just recorded
very long episode, probably a record-breaking episode for
the
us.
longest. We just fucking rabbled on there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Lighting, science versus skeptic. Thomas, once again, has picked up the skeptic mantle. Myself, Stephen, I have once again picked up the scientific role. And we just
argued with each other.
Yeah.
Threw a few opinions in the air.
Basically talked about lighting and what goes on in the hydroponics industry. Half-time break, we talked about Gavita and their issues with the Growzine article, which said that they were manufactured in China and that they're a bunch of lying bastards.
Yeah.
We gave our opinion on that article. We also talked about HID, the UK distributor of Spectrum Kings, and a bit of our opinion followed up by a thank you to Paul from HID.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What else did we talk about in the halftime break? We finished. Oh yeah, Hydromag and people pulling out of adverts and Hydromag because you're a bunch of sissies.
Yeah,
we gave our opinions on that, and then the second half we talked about ceramic metal halides and LEDs, and we just talked forever. And
we just talked and talked.
We did. So if you can get through it, well done. If you get through to the end, there's a 10% discount code. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Send us your messages. And if you don't get to the end, I'm going to say it again at the beginning. Send us your questions for the end of the month Hydroponic Questions podcast. We want them on our Facebook. Email them to us. Whatever you need to do. We want your questions. Sit back. Enjoy the podcast. I was trying to think of a really novel way of introducing the podcast, and we end up just reverting.
Welcome back to the NPK's podcast, and this is episode 75.
That's nice. I like that introduction. What are we doing on today?
Well, today we're going to have another science versus skeptic.
Interesting.
Regarding lighting.
Lighting.
Yeah.
A big subject.
Big subject.
Now,
big.
It is. There's whole Facebook groups and there's websites and there's just tons of information regarding lighting. And who's right? It's hard to say.
Well, I know you scientists will all state you are right, but it's obvious us skeptics are always right.
Well, you skeptics like to go off anecdotal evidence, don't you? And you like to see what happens in the grow room, and you base your opinions on what happens in the grow room.
Well, I've got some good questions that I want the answers for today.
Oh, sounds like you're going to put it to the science. I'm going to put it to the skeptic.
Because I've seen you jangling away on this Facebook having absolute essay wars. I've looked at some of the posts and thought, oh my God, I haven't got the time to read that. Nearly 3 pages long, and I can't even understand half of it. It just looks like a load of mumbo-jumbo, photons, protons, neurons and neutrons and all sorts of weird stuff.
You said quite a nice collection of words there.
I know.
I've
been listening to you too much, haven't I?
Well, it's going to be more opinions on this one, because I'd go so far to say there's no facts within lighting, or there's no accepted facts.
Don't you reckon that's a bold statement? If Theo's listening to this...
Well, Theo will have a set of facts, and Theo, I have no problem saying, has taught me probably most of my knowledge. Theo gave me the spark of interest to do with lighting.
Good word, spark.
And I've gone on and done my own research. But what you find is that you'll find that there's a Facebook group called the IAGLA, the International Artificial Grow Light Association, and every man and his dog...
did you find how many members it took to change the bulb?
I did.
How many was that?
Off the top of my head now, it's like, what was it, 18? It was 18 people to change the light bulb. If you don't know what we're on about, go and... I had a little joke. I woke up one morning and thought, we need to lighten up this IAGLA forum, and so I did. How many lighting engineers does it take to change a light bulb? So get on there and find it.
Yeah, the answer's on there.
Yeah, so you'll find lots of people from all different lighting companies, LEDs and HPS, and just everybody from every lighting manufacturer is there debating, arguing, conflicting. People getting blocked, people having murder.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like a Royal Rumble of Facebook groups. So what we're here to do today is just go through some of the questions and give our little 2 pence worth of
we
information.
love a good 2 pence worth as well, don't we?
Aye. So, don't we? The aim of this podcast is to create questions. We want you to go away thinking.
I'm made it. No, I'm only messing, but that always follows anyway. So
we're going to cut it up as well with a little half-time break on Gavita.
Okay.
Gavita and issues from people saying that their electronics are manufactured in China.
Yeah.
And Gavita's response caused a bit of a shitstorm around Christmas time last year. So we're going to have
a bit of information though, and the facts are revealed and we've got a lovely piece from Gavita, is it?
Yeah, they released. So there's 2 white papers, but we're going to go into more discussion at half time. Give you a little break. So, what to start with? How many lights are there, Thomas? How many different types of lights?
Ooh, now are we talking about shade or bulb?
Bulb.
Okay.
Types of light.
Shit. Oh my God, there's a lot. So we've got HID.
Yeah.
High intensity discharge.
Yeah.
Which is the white light.
Which is the high pressure sodiums and metal halides, sort of a collective name for high pressure lights.
No, it doesn't cover high pressure sodium because that's the orange light. HID is metal halide. It covers under metal halide, I believe, if that's right. If I'm wrong, contradict me, I'm not bothered. But we've got HBS and HID. We've also got CFL.
Yep.
LED.
Yep. Ceramic metal halide.
Oh, yeah.
Which is quite
That's new, isn't it?
UK.
You've been looking at that.
Yeah, we've been having a little look into that. Yeah, so you've got your fluorescent tubes, which is your CFLs, compact fluorescents, LEDs, HPS, metal
and
halides.
fairy lights.
Fairy lights, yeah. And the spotlights you've got outside your garage.
Yeah.
They'll work as well, don't they? And sunlight.
Yeah.
Can't forget sunlight.
So they're the types of light. Then you have a variance of bulb, which is endless. Different companies doing different things and saying they do different walls,
different wattages,
different colours, different prices,
length of bulbs.
Yeah. How many ends they've got? Hey,
single-ended, double-ended, triple-ended.
I haven't seen that one.
No, I haven't. So that'll be brought out one day.
Probably. And it'll be the best ever.
Yeah, until the 4-ended light comes out. Okay, so let's give some definitions then. CFL, compact fluorescent lighting. Now, I'm interested in how these lights work, so I think you guys might be as well. So with CFLs, they've got an electric current which runs through argon. So there's argon and there's a little bit of mercury within these CFLs. When the electric current runs through the argon, it creates UV light. And when it hits a phosphor coating within the inside of the CFL, that's what emits visible light. So if you're interested how that works, that's how that works.
CFLs, Dom, they're cheap, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty
Low
cheap.
energy.
Yeah.
And you've got blue ones and you've got red ones.
Yeah.
One's for growing and one's for flowering.
Yeah.
So I can just use these cheap lights just to do everything, can't I? And I don't need... Why do I need to bother with all of this other stuff? Because these are cheap. They don't have any heat on them as well, so it's really good for the summer and all that. So what I was thinking is I'll just get a blue CFL and a red CFL. I'll just get a 300 red blue and a 300 red. And
you've got 600 watts worth of light. You've got a 600 watt HPS, haven't you?
Yeah, and what I can do, I'll just grow 30 plants under my blue one, and then I'll just put them under the red one.
Should work out nice, shouldn't it?
And then bulbs, they'll only cost me like 30
£80.
Yeah.
For the pair.
You know what I mean? I'll just do my whole thing on that.
No, it doesn't quite work like
Why
that,
not?
Unfortunately. So we're getting on to a little bit technical here now. The blue CFLs, 6,400 Kelvin.
Yeah.
That's the colour scale that the CFL emits. And then you've got red CFLs, which is around 2,700 Kelvin. Now the Kelvins, I've written this one down because I didn't want to get it wrong. And I found this quite interesting.
My uncle was called Calvin as well.
Kelvin.
Oh, sorry.
Calvin or Kelvin?
Calvin.
Oh,
but it's called Kelvin.
Yeah, this one's Kelvin.
Sorry.
Kelvin with a K. So the Kelvin is the heat of a lamp's colour temperature and is the relative whiteness of a piece of tungsten heated to that temperature in degrees Kelvin. So if you heated a piece of tungsten to 2,700 Kelvin, it would produce a reddish light. If you heated it to 6,400 Kelvin, it would produce a bluish light. So that's how you get that's what you're looking at when you're...
So that's how you get it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I can just use that for all my 30 plants then, can't I?
Not quite, because the blue CFL, 6,400 Kelvin, is a very specific wavelength of light. It's just on the blue spectrum. And then the red CFL is just on a very specific wavelength, the red spectrum. And plants use a whole host of different colours within the visible spectrum. We call it PAR, photosynthetic active radiation. That's between 400 nanometers and...
So what are these for then? What's the point in them?
So blue CFLs, great for vegetative growth, short, stocky plants when you can't have a lot of heat because it'll stress them. And the red CFLs, if I'm honest, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't see the point in red CFLs. I'd like somebody to tell me.
Well, I've got a tip for you.
Okay.
Red CFLs. This is the only purpose, and I'll be honest, what I've used them for. Summer months.
Yeah.
Temperature without the lights on, 27 degrees. Bit of a
Yeah.
pain in the ass.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And we want to put 6 lamps on. Not happening. However, I've got a room that required 6 lamps because it's got a number of plants in there.
Yeah.
So I can only afford to put 3 lamps on because of the temperature difference. It's going into the danger zone.
Which is what would you count as the danger zone?
28 degrees.
And above?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, in the summer, things can get a bit,
Toasty.
yeah, toasty to say the least. And you might let it go for a little bit. But, every time that it's in that danger zone, you know that bad things are happening within the
Everything
plant
starts to happen
system.
at an accelerated process.
So, a little tip for you, what I personally do.
Yeah.
Theo might be listening and say, oh my God, what the hell is Thomas doing? He's crazy, that's wrong. This is what I do. So I can only put 3 lamps on now. I go down the shop, I go and get 4 CFLs, 5 CFLs. They don't give
All red?
All red.
Okay.
This is when I'm in the flower. Yeah. And I get them in the room straight away. They have no ballast. They don't emit any additional heat at all. So rather than losing all of that dark space, I'll spread my HPS further apart and replace with a CFL in between them gaps. It's not as intense as having the HPS. However, it doesn't give the darkness within the room. And I feel I benefit from it still.
Yeah. That is a good way to use it.
It's the only advice I've got to use red CFLs.
Yeah. Well, Theo would say, now you're saying about heat, now yours is a very specific time and place to use red CFLs. But there's another spin on it. If heat wasn't an issue, Theo actually said that adding blue CFLs during the flowering phase can actually be beneficial as well.
Yeah.
Because HPSs have got loads of the red side of the spectrum. So the plants can actually benefit from a little bit more of the blue. But,
see, I wouldn't have thought that.
I didn't think.
I would have thought the plant would have got confused.
Yeah,
like if you leave a light bulb on in the room and it doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, they use all spectrums evenly across the growth, and then a little bit more red in the flowering. Interesting point. The energy of each wavelength of light. Red is a little bit more energetic than blue, so that's why HPSs are a bit more on the red side, because for the amount of per watt of energy consumed by the bulb, you can produce more red photons than blue photons. So just an interesting piece of information. Red is more energetic than the blue ones. Go on Google while we're discussing this and type in PAR, photosynthetic active radiation, because it'll help you visualise what we're talking about. Blue being on the left-hand side of the spectrum, around the 390 to 410 micromoles, and along with ultraviolet a little bit further left. And you move all the way up, green in the middle, towards red and infrared. Red being around 700 micromoles and all that sort of stuff.
Maybe in a Skeptic.
Aye.
All of that's just a load of crap.
Okay.
Load of coswallop.
Yeah.
Load of mumbo-jumbo.
Higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah. As at the end of the day, we just use these HPS lights. The only light you need. My plants are unbelievably very well and healthy looking, and have been for a long, long time through my growing career.
Yeah.
So all this crap that you're saying about these LEDs with 11 spectrums and these colours and the green colour, and you can change the sunlight time, and you can make the sun come up when you want and go down. That's nifty. If you can make the sun come up and down with the remote control, mate, you're onto something there. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying is, like,
you've done fine.
Yeah.
Why do we need to?
Why do I need to go and get myself away from my £50 HPS kit, 600 watt metal ballast kit, bulb ballast and shade, £50, does all of the plant's life cycle very happily, and it is just brilliant product and does the work successfully well. And I've looked at Jimmy down the road who's got this super whooper duper LED light. He doesn't even know how to set it on. I'm looking at his plants and they look like nettles. And he's telling me, oh yeah, but it's amazing. It doesn't look amazing. It looks crap. So what are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm going to give you the point to make my point.
Go for it.
When you go into your room, when the lights are off, and you can't see a thing, what do you use?
Me eyes.
You can't see a thing, though. Your eyes are done. You're not a bat.
Me hands.
I should say now. Your hands, so you feel your way round.
Yeah.
And how do you know to get around your plants without kicking pots? What light would you use to help you see in the dark?
Green.
Ah, green light.
That's only because somebody's brought out torches with green lenses and said that green lenses are great.
So why?
Honestly, I just go in and switch the room light on. Boom, the bulb, 100 watt house light. Boom, bang on. Wake them all up. Shit, what's going on? Have a look at them. Yeah, they look sound. Light off.
Oh, you're being a hell of a skeptic today, aren't you?
Oh, you know me, lad.
Okay.
Hey, and I've done that many a times, lad, and I'm telling you now, me plants didn't die. They didn't drop every bit of the fruit off. They didn't go, the lights, like vampires. They just went, hello, T, what's happening? Yeah, man, you're all right, bro. And then I just switched the light back out and there we went.
I'll tell you, if your plants are speaking to you like that, you must have been on some good stuff.
You don't know my plants means.
Okay, I'm going to put it to you like this then. See you.
Yeah.
With your plants and your light.
Yeah.
You've got how many? You've got one tool in your toolbox. You've got a hammer. You've got your magnetic ballasts. You've got your 600 watt bulbs. And you've got one tool in your toolbox. What do you do when it becomes too hot?
Stress me fucking head out.
You stress.
Switch me fan
hot.
up extra
high.
Extra high, yeah. Do a weather dance outside and pray to the gods that it's going to go snowy overnight.
Yeah, we all do that. But no, you can't turn your fan up because it's really warm outside. And turning your fan up just means that more warm air is going to come up. So you end up turning your lights off. And let's put aside the fact that you were talking about CFLs before, because you're the skeptic. You've got one tool in your box and you haven't really looked up CFLs because it's all a load of bollocks.
Yeah, I've just got my HPS and I'm flying.
Yeah, so you've got 4 HPS and it's 35 degrees. You turn one off. You've now got a patch of darkness. It's still 32 degrees. Oh, I'm going to have to turn another one off.
I know where you're going with this. Okay. So you're going to go to the zone of LEDs, no heat?
Possibly.
Okay, well, I'm going to kick it in the bollocks here, and I'm going to skeptically say, well, these LEDs, you'd have to be a millionaire to buy them anyway. So when I've switched that for me light off, yeah, I haven't sacrificed on running my plant in a bad environment. So my plants are still growing very, very well, but with less light.
Yeah.
I've took a little kick in the teeth here.
Yeah.
But Jimmy down the road still growing nettles under his LED. And my half a crop is producing still more than what he's producing, yeah. But he's still paying more. He paid an outlay cost for this LED of over £1,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, he best get back to the drawing board, mate.
Well, what was your mate's name?
Jimmy.
Jimmy definitely needs to go back to the drawing board because he's paid a lot of money for a very good LED because the ones over £1,000 tend to be decent LEDs.
So they say.
So they say. And Jimmy hasn't got a clue how to use it. So you've got two different people here. You've got Mr. Skeptic, who knows, he's been working with HPS lights all of his life and he knows them inside out.
You know what, I'm going to put you on the ropes here right now in a minute as well.
And the LED guy has thought, I like a bit of science, listen to the boys, I'm going to try an LED. But he hasn't really gone much further and saw there's a different method of growing with LEDs and he hasn't looked into the scientific method of growing.
Well, while I'm looking into scientific methods now, yeah. I'm looking into LEDs while still smashing me crop to pieces with the HPS, still kicking Jimmy's ass while he's there with this LED, looking at the instructions 10 times over the day. But I've got something else for you.
Okay.
let's put the LED on the back burner.
Okay.
I'm on my £50 budget kit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we've got Gavita, big boys.
Yeah.
We've got Solistech,
Yeah.
trying to rival in there, trying to muscle in with all this light diet bulb and, there's a bulb for this day and a bulb for that day and bloody hell, fucking hell. Won't know what bulb goes in where and when. Now, and you've got some, what's them other ones? The other ones?
You've got a few.
They're all HPS, but they're all in the big boy range.
The big boy range, yeah.
Like roaming on digital and stuff as well.
The one that Carlos used to work for.
Mr.
Nanolux.
Nanolux, that's
Nanolux,
it. What do I call it? Nanex or Nanolex?
yeah.
Nanolux, and then there's another one. That's we see.
There's a few in America that we don't.
So
really
there's
know.
Lux.
Yeah, there's these produce like the sort of the all-in-one fixtures, don't they?
Yeah, where it's got the shade and the ballast all connected together.
And there'll be a few in America as well.
One thing I notice about these every time I go, they look really nice. Yeah, and when I walk around the shows, I think, yeah, it's Ferrari kit, that. Look, it's got the slimline stickers on it, and it's got the UV painted stickers and holograms and lovely box and all that. But I think, for one of them lights, I can buy 5 of mine. Now, he's saying here, this geezer with his shirt and his tie on hasn't grown a bloody daisy in his life. He's trying to tell me, yeah, that his one light is better than my 5 budgets. Now, my 5 budgets are costing me $250, yeah? His one light's costing $380.
Yeah.
And he's telling me, oh, yeah, 10%, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. 10%, use your brain, yeah. I've got 5 lights and I've still got change. I'm buying some feed as well, yeah. So how can your 10% beat my additional 4 HPS lights? Thought so.
I just thought to put that there for effect. It's a very good valid point, to be honest. And I'm on the fucking ropes here. It all comes down to, in my opinion, efficiency and costing. So, you are right. And it's really hard to make the argument when you are talking about one light and you can get this many magnetic ballasts, but I'm going to go for it. It becomes a lot easier when we talk about, in America, you've got the 50 light setups and they're grown all indoors. It becomes a lot easier to make the argument of efficiency. How much wattage is drawn from the wall? How much light do you actually get for what you're paying for? The distribution of light. You want to make every single penny that you pay for electricity count, and you want it to be the absolute finest light for your plants. So it's really easy to just get rid of your argument when you're talking mass scale. It's really hard to negotiate your argument when we're talking 1 or 2, but I'm going to do it. So I've got 1, you've got 5. First point, you're on magnetic ballasts. Copper coils wound round very tightly. So what happens with the magnetic ballasts is, I want you to do this if you're listening. Take a little video of your magnetic ballasts and see the black lines that appear on your phone screen. You'll see them banding up slowly, moving up and up the screen. What that is your ballast moving at 50 hertz. That means that the light is turning on and off 50 times every second. You weigh that up over 3 months. How much light have you actually lost? I'm not going to do the calculation now, but 50 times a second, weigh it up over 3 to 4 months, or however long it takes to grow your plants, you're losing light for every second that you're using a magnetic ballast. Okay? Next is, what does it draw from the wall? A magnetic balance in the UK, I'm going to talk about here. The variance in the electrical output from the wall varies significantly. It can be 550 watts, it can be 650 watts. Bulbs, a 600 watt bulb designed to run 600 watts. When it gets thrown down to 550 or pushed up to 650, the longevity of the bulb is going to be reduced. The spectral output of the bulb is going to be distorted. So the point I'm making is that the efficiency of my super duper ballast for £380, better spectrum for the plants, they're going to grow better. The Skeptic doesn't think so, because he's only ever used magnetic ballasts, so he's only ever seen one type of plant grow. But when you see the abundance of foliage, the flowering sites, the amount of the weight of the flowers and the weight of the produce increasing. If you're growing something like tobacco, like we did at Narodia, you can see that the oil production actually increases because the plant is, you can stress the plant out with different wavelengths of light. So there's a lot of benefits towards these higher end products. They also tend to last a lot longer as well. And then that's just the bulb. What we're forgetting about here is the shade. What shades do you use?
I just use the cheap one I get with the basic
The
kit.
barn shade.
Yeah, barn reflector.
Yeah, Euro Wing.
Yeah.
Ours comes with the blue cover,
Yeah.
which you must peel off.
Yeah.
Don't be a dunce. Ours comes with a super, I think a lot of them are Miro. I don't really know what that means. Miro aluminium, super reflective, 98% reflectivity. So that light that is being emitted from the bulb is being reflective efficiently. You're not losing any light to the reflector. And the plant can actually get more of the light that you're choosing to give to it. So it's still hard to make the argument. To be honest with you, it's on a cost-by-cost basis. You get 5 lights, I get 1. But would I still go for 1 light? I would definitely go over quality and quantity. My 1 light will outperform your 1 light. My 1 light will last longer than your 1 light.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I know.
See, that's a piece of bold statement here, mate, because, you know, I just know that my 1 light has got a warranty with NPK, so, you know, it doesn't matter if it runs out after 12 months. I know the boys will just sort it out for me. And
I also know that my £380 light has got a 2-year warranty with NPK.
Okay.
So put that in the old roly paper and smoke it.
Okay, so that's a little...
There's goods for, there's fors and there's against.
Yeah.
If it was within your budget, I would highly recommend trying out the new lights, because your plant will be better, you will last you longer, you will just have a better produce at the end. You will have less problems, but you can still get great results you can get good results off these magnetic ballasts. But it is, at the very minimum, it's worth upgrading. So let's go for middle ground. Let's at least all start using digital ballasts.
Digital ballast. Right, another question.
Okay.
Got all sorts of knobs on the side of them, haven't they?
Yeah.
Knobs that do different things. Now, I've seen a number of these digital ballasts. One's, just off the top of my head, some of them have got, like, it looks like a volume diagram. You know what it means when it goes from small to big. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, it'll say maybe 400 and then go, and it'll say 600, and you'd have to switch it between. And I'm thinking, you know, what's going on here? And then you've got one that says 250, 400, 600, and 600S.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 3 lights, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. In one ballast.
In one ballast. And then I've seen ones with, is it 450, 650?
Yeah.
And 650S or something like that. And I'm thinking, what's 450? Because we haven't got a 450 bulb. Yeah. Because also, as well, you just keep the same bulb and just switch this bulb up and down. Is that what you do with this, or are you going to change the bulb over? Because I can't understand all of what you're saying to me, because I've heard you all talking about this stuff when we go to shows, and I'm listening, you know, and we're talking about bulbs, and if you blow air through the bulb through an air-cooled shade, that reduces the spectrum. So I've got that in my brain. I'm thinking they're talking about all this rubbish, and then I've listened to one guy, I can't remember who it was, saying, yeah, I've got my 600 watt bulb and I switch it down to 250. Now I'm thinking, this is just the bulb, yeah. All the brains is inside the ballast. This bulb ain't no special bulb, is it? So my theory in my own brain's thinking he's talking a load of crap here, because if he switches this bulb, it's going to be like bzzz. You know, when you switch the light down in your house and with that little knob thing, and it goes that low, it's nearly buzzing, because it doesn't. It's just not. It's like it's just getting a little bit of power. Yeah. To me, that doesn't make sense. Now I might be wrong, but I can't see it being wrong. I can't see how you can switch a 600 watt bulb down to 400 or 250.
Okay.
I reckon that's a load of crap.
3 ballasts that you've mentioned now. one that does 250, 400 and 600 with a super lumens feature.
Excuse me, yeah.
Then you've got another ballast, which is like the volume setting. It says 100% power, and then you just dim,
something like that, yeah.
all the way down.
Is that Tech 1, I think?
Tech 1 used to do them,
yeah.
And then there was the other ballast that you mentioned, which had 350, 475, 650.
It was weird settings.
Okay, so let's start with Tech 1, which is just a plain old 600 watt dimmable ballast. I don't like them. The reason being is you put your 600 watt bulb in, and you run it at 600 watts, and you've got a digital ballast and all's good and well. And then you dim it, but what are you dimming it down to? How can you have... You've got 4 of these Tech 1s, and you dim them all down, and one's going to be slightly higher, one's going to be lower.
That's what I was thinking. It's got like this free running knob on it, and like there's no prominent points to it. That not like a click where it go click, click, and you know it's on that setting. It's like a volume button, and you just randomly select
changing it, and then you're changing the spectrum because you're distorting the bulb. It's not running it.
So are you agreeing with me? Yeah,
the science is my science is going to agree with your skepticism with regards to sort of Tech 1 ballast and that volume dimmable.
Yeah,
I'd stay away from them.
Okay, well, what about the other ones? 600 watt bulb in these other ones, and I switch it down to 400.
So you get the 350 ones, and the ones that have got weird settings. You get 250 watt bulbs, 400 watt bulbs, and 600 watt bulbs.
Yeah.
If your ballast, digital ballast, doesn't allow you to click onto 250, 400, and 600, I'd stay away from it as well, because a bulb is designed to run at what it's manufactured to. A 650 isn't designed to run at 550 or 400.
So my theory then is, I don't use them.
Yeah.
But if I was going to, I would think, okay, sounds like a good piece of kit, this light that does 3 different things, a 250, 400 and 600.
Yeah.
We have bulbs that cater for that.
Yeah.
Now I'd think, okay, buy 3 different bulbs. Buy a 250 bulb, a 400 bulb and a 600 bulb. And then when you want to switch it down, you take the bulb out and put it in. Now that makes common sense to me. I might be wrong. And you big scientists might go, oh no, you can just do this, and once you switch it down, the ballast knows, and it makes this super thing, and it sends it to the bulb, and the bulb's little brain goes, oh, let's just burn a little bit lower, and then it's all happy forever. And I don't think so. I'm no scientist, but I've got a bit of common sense, like.
Okay, so what I should have mentioned at the beginning is that we're just talking about standard digital ballasts. Yeah, they look very similar to magnetic ballasts. They're a lot sleeker, they're
nice
lighter,
looking products.
they run cooler. These are the products that we're talking about now, not the high-end Gavitas, Solistechs, A1s.
No.
We're not talking about them at the moment because they do have a nice feature, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the digital ballasts, you run 250, 400 and 600. My preference is the Maxi Bright Pro Select 600 watt. Solistech have also got one out though. I haven't tried it, but I believe that they're equally good. And there's probably others that are equally good, but I use Maxi Bright Pro Selects. If you're running 600 watts, if you intend to run your room with 600 watt bulbs, you buy the 600 watt bulbs, you put them in at 600 watts and all's hunky-dory. If you have the money to spend, I would also buy yourself 400 watt bulbs. So if the day comes when you have an odd freak hot day, you can go, okay, my room's going to be too hot. Unscrew all your bulbs, put 400s in, dim them down to 400s, Bob's your uncle. Everyone's happy. But some people might not have the funds, or they might have literally been caught out and put the 600 watt bulbs in. We have a freak hot day and it's just too hot. It is okay to dim your 600s to 400s. It's not perfect. It's not an ideal world. But dimming a 600 to 400, getting them temperatures cooler is a lot better than keeping them at 600s, in inverted commas, running the bulb at what it's supposed to be run at and scorching your plants because it's too hot. So it's a bit of common sense in the middle of science and skepticism. Use your common sense and dim down when needed. But if you can, buy the specific bulbs for 400, buy a 250 watt bulb if you're going to run them at 250. The skeptic's right in this occasion. You should run them at what they should be run at. Pointing matter though. The Ferraris, the Gavitas, the Solitechs A1s, the Nano Lux all-in-one fixtures. There's something quite nice about these. You can dim them. You'd buy, let's say, the Gavita. I use Gavita because they're the most well-known around the world. You put a 600-watt double-ended bulb in. You can actually dim them, and the ballast figures out, and the bulb has been made, these double-ended bulbs have been made in such a way that they can cope with. I don't understand the fully myself, but it's to do with resonance and frequencies and how
Yeah.
But these ballasts, they're super duper.
Yeah,
You can dim them.
Yeah.
You can dim them down. There's a new fixture coming out by...
Well, my 50 quid of kits you can't dim down, but I tell you what, they kick ass.
Do they also go really hot?
Oh, you can cook an egg
So
on the ballast.
On those hot days,
Yeah.
and they're adding loads of heat to your room.
Yeah.
Science doesn't like that.
I'm going to ask what science doesn't like.
Fortunately, if people are adamant on using these magnetic ballasts, we use the best magnetic ballasts that you can get. We use Pro Gear, the Pro Selects Pro Gears, white vented metal ballasts. Very, very good quality. I wouldn't go for these plastic magnetic ballasts. If you buy a plastic magnetic ballast, hazards, fire hazards, heat, it's just a nightmare. It's an accident waiting to happen. Stay away from plastic magnetic ballasts. If you want to get them, you need to get these vented metal ones by Pro Gear. You can get them from Harley.
Yeah, mate, stack them up. You know them plastic ones? You stack them up. 10 of them. 2 of them. Like, one on top of each, like a double layer, like a double sarnie from Burger King. And they just melted and dripped all over one another, burnt right through the floor.
Oh, that's not good. Not good at all. Stay away from them. Stay away from the magnetics, from the plastics, I should say. If you have to go with magnetics, though, because of circumstance, make sure you're getting a really nice, well-ventilated metal. I like Pro Gear. And if you're a shop and you're listening, you get them from Highlight Horticulture.
That was something else as well that we nearly forgot about as well. Metal halide. This white light crap and growing and all that. You know, why do we need to have a metal halide? Because I've got my HBS 50 quid, as I keep saying, you know, and it does everything. It does. It's a one-trick pony, lad. It does everything from start to finish. I don't need to mess about changing bulbs and buying other bits of kit, and, you know, it does what it says on the tin, mate.
Okay, here's one for you. For end of February, March, it's the end of winter, it's starting to get towards the beginning of spring. Do you think that the light at the beginning of spring from the sun is the same as the light at the end of autumn?
I don't care, because my plant just looks great.
Could it look better?
I don't know.
It could do.
How do you know?
Because tests have been done. Science has spoken.
Well, I haven't done the test.
Here's one for you then. I have.
Okay.
And the big indoor growers and greenhouse growers and people all over the world, big agriculture, they've also done the tests.
I will use it to the end, and wow, I bet you it was well better, wasn't it?
It was actually, yeah. Well predicted. The tomato growers, the big guys in America growing the medicinal products, do they use magnetic ballasts? These are businessmen.
No, but they're doing different things and that.
They're businessmen.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
And they like to.
They haven't got 50
money.
quid cheap kits over there. That's what it is.
They did have. That was like 10 years ago though.
Nah.
They've moved on. What phone are you using?
State of the art iPhone 6S.
But the Nokia 6310 that was out like 10, 12, 15 years ago was just as good. You could make phone calls, you could text people, and you could play Snake, but you can't fucking play Snake on your phone.
You know what, though? You can download the app.
Can you?
Yeah.
Fuck off. But why have you bought the iPhone?
Because I don't want an old ancient piece of kit.
And does it work better? Oh, I've got the Rick laughing his head off because he fucking hates Apple. He just, for all you guys that listen and you're into your IT, you will also agree with Rick that Apple are shit. And
yeah.
He's got a Samsung or a Sony.
But for all you people who are like me and can't do IT, Apple's amazing because it's like IT for kids, isn't it?
It's easy to use. Yeah. Pick it up and you're ready to go. We digress. They move on to newer technology. We don't stay stuck in the mud. If we did, we'd still be...
But you know what it is? I'll be honest with you. Being a skeptic. I'm scared. Scared to change.
Because what you've got works.
Yeah. And that's it. You know, I don't want to take a risk, and especially paying a good bit of extra money. It's a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to risk just losing everything maybe in one go, because then I can't afford that. I rely upon me harvest and stuff.
Reward only comes from risk, though. Think of it as one step back, 2 steps forward. Now, if you want to stay stuck in the mud, you can always get the same results, but I guarantee you in 10 years' time, you'll just be hit out the park because everybody else will be performing better than you. You might need to take 2 steps back. I know a lot of people have moved on to LEDs that took 3 steps back because they didn't adjust the growing methods to the way LEDs
Tell you what
grow.
I'll do then. I'll keep my eye on Jimmy down the road, and once he starts growing decent flowers instead of nettles, then I'll switch.
Sounds like a plan. And maybe in that time, the high-priced technology will have dropped and made it more affordable and accessible for more people in the market. So what you have to do is you have to get onto iTunes and download these hydroponic podcasts that tend to keep up to date with the new technology and give your honest opinions. If there was a podcast that did that, do you know of any?
Ooh, not that I know of, no.
Listen, and we stay abreast of all the new technology, and we're honest. The reason for the Science versus Skeptic is, like we say at the beginning of the podcast, it's 2 very polar views. These aren't necessarily our views, and sometimes Thomas might act a little bit silly, and I might go over the top on science.
We both play an extreme role. I'm interrogating and questioning everything I can possibly think of with every answer under the sun to retaliate against your answers.
Because people do think like that.
Yeah,
and people think like me.
I come across it all the time. And in all honesty, at some of the points, I was speaking from the heart. I.e., some of the pitches that I listen to when I go to shows about amazing this and amazing that. And the point that I made about, I heard somebody talking about the bulb and they can switch it down.
Yeah.
And I went away and questioned that. And it was a good point that we did went away and question that, because now we found out that it is better to change the bulbs to the adequate light range that you want to put on.
Yeah. We're going to discuss in more detail about, because you mentioned air-cooled lights and the distorted spectrum. I'm going to discuss a little bit more on the ceramic metal halides and LEDs. We're going to take a little break and just have a little discussion, aren't we? We'll have a little chat. 2 things. The Gavita articles that got published Christmas last year, and we're also going to mention HID, the British UK wholesale company that distributes Spectrum King as well as a lot of other lights. We're going to have a little chat about them and our experiences with them over the last few weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gavita. Around the 10th of December 2015, there was an article published by Growzine, www.growzine.com, about Gavita products. Now, I've got the white paper in front of me, published by Growzine. I've also got Gavita's responses.
This
2 white papers.
So, for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about here, basically, this is somebody making a statement about Gavita.
Yeah.
Caused up a bit of a ruckus.
It did, yeah. Gavita published these responses.
So, somebody wrote a paper
anonymously.
Yeah. Shit house.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shit house trick, isn't it?
Possibly, he might. The other side of it could be that he wanted to write it anonymously so that it didn't seem like a competitor was writing something bad about another.
Was he a
brand.
competitor?
It turns out it was.
Well, that's done. Yeah,
it was.
Well, that makes it even more of a shit house, to be honest with you, because a competitor has anonymously done it. So he slipped that in there without putting his name.
Yeah.
So that's a bit. You bloody shit house. You should have put your name on the piece of paper. But anyway, he's wrote a paper stating something about
some questions.
He asked questions.
And the questions were based around that on a box on a Gavita, it says made in Holland.
Okay.
His disgruntlement, if that's a word, was that when he's had a little look at them and he's found some of the electronics, it says made in China.
Oh, so he threw a right spanner in the works there. And
he thought it was a little bit dishonest.
Can we say what company is he from?
It's out there anyway. We're not saying anything new. It was by Revolution Micro, which is
never heard of them.
They're a new light company that's coming out.
Okay, because it's only fair that we know who it is, so we may as well say who they are.
To be fair, it does look like it's going to be the guy who makes it is a good engineer, and it looks like he might have a good light. We'll wait and see.
Okay.
So he's asked some questions. I'm not going to go through them all because
there's it's quite some papers you've got there. Just let's break it down.
But the crux of it is that he said made in Holland, and actually these are made in China. So what I'll do is I'll go straight to the conclusion of Gavita.
So basically, when he's done this, he's pissed off Gavita somewhat, which is fair enough. And Gavita have put together a 1, 2, 3, for 5-piece document reply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Theo.
By Theo. So...
We're bringing this up because it's for discussion. This is an old piece of news.
Yeah, and we know the answers and got some different opinions on it.
So Gavita's conclusion was this. This is verbatim. Whether our electronics are or are not made in the PRC, which is the People's Republic of China, is not an issue that needed disclosure. Open a ballast and read the label. It is clearly marked. About cultivating deception, which is one of the comments that was made.
Right.
We are really open about anything we do in this industry. It is not a trade secret or deception that our electronics are made in a Chinese factory. So that is the truth. That's what Gavita is saying. We are not deceiving anyone. All records are available to check. We never, ever publish that all of our parts or of our products are manufactured in Holland. Very few products are. We are entitled to have, in commas, made in the Netherlands or made in Holland, though Holland is not a country, on our products by national, European and international law as the country of origin. Other countries have similar laws. In fact, in the USA, any product assembled in the USA with at least 50% US products may be labelled Made in USA. We have requested Eric Bixer, who's the owner of Grozine, to withdraw his article and post a rectification. In the meanwhile, we have our legal counsel evaluate if this article causes reputation damage, and we reserve the right to take legal steps, if necessary, against the authors. We do hope that it needn't come that far. And that was Gavita's conclusion. So, the reason that we're bringing this up is just to have a little bit of a debate, see what you guys think, because we get a lot of comments emailed to us.
Well, to be honest, I'm going to stick up for Gavita on this one. I'm going to go with Gavita because I think everything in the world, apart parts and components, I'm into motorbikes, as you know, Stephen, and
petrol head.
The amount of times I've got to wait for me stuff to get shipped out from China. Now... this other company's probably at the bollocks a bit. They're trying to find anything to get on Gavita. Now, because they've got the parts from China, it is put together in Holland. So, you know, they are right. And parts come from all over the world. Yeah. Not one country just makes everything. No. That'd be ridiculous. Look at our country, for instance. We're a little tiny island. We have to get fucking everything from everywhere. But... if it's assembled in the UK,
it's probably done to very high standards.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I just don't think that's fair at all. Well, if the whole product had come from China and you'd lied about it,
and it came in a white box and you need to put some labels on it and shipped it out, maybe you could understand.
But I just think that was just a little ploy from a competitor to just get in there and have a little dig.
So I made the comment before, we were having a little chat about it before we started the podcast. If a Ferrari has a part within the engine or anywhere, the leather, whatever it is, and let's say a part in the engine comes from Germany, does that mean that the Ferrari is a German car? Or is it because everything's put together?
Or do you have to change it to Audi?
Yeah, or BMW. Yeah. Is it still an Italian car? I think you'd have 99.9% of people say a Ferrari's an Italian car, even though it's got components from other places. Where's the leather from? Is the leather from USA? Does that now make it an American car? A muscle car? I think being very... yeah, just exactly repeat what you've said, just trying to promote a bit of publicity. But on the other foot, I'll ask some questions that maybe some people think. Should Gavita have been more open? Or did Gavita think to themselves... well, we've written it on our ballast. We're not like we're hiding it. But should they have been more open with the fact that the electronics were made in China?
Well, in all honesty, I want to stick up for Gavita again as well. Because if there's one thing I know about companies, especially Gavita, is they are always there to answer questions or tackle any type of argument instantly. Yeah. Especially Theo. Yeah. He loves a good... debate, yeah. And the knowledge is second to none. Yeah. I'd honestly say, to be honest, I've never known another company to be as knowledgeable as them. Yeah. I don't.
The worldwide, aren't they?
So, best of luck to any company who wants to try and take down Gavita with their new product, because you're going to have a job on your hands. And I don't mean just by sales and marketing. I mean, Gavita really have got a lot of knowledge and are focused and dedicated to that.
I'm respecting the industry as well.
Yeah, a lot of respect. I respect Gavita a lot myself also.
A good example, perfect example, is if you go back about 25, maybe 30 episodes, Theo has actually done 2 episodes with us, hasn't he? Part 1 and part 2 of lighting. Try and go through those podcasts and try and find any mention of the word Gavita on the podcasts.
Yeah.
Try and find it. He does not promote Gavita on any of the podcasts. I thought that was quite special. He was literally came here to educate. He talked about PAR, PPF, PPFD, DLI, all these different acronyms for lighting. And he came on and he was just
Very,
educational.
very, very knowledgeable man.
Blows my head every time.
Oh, I feel like I can't even sit next to him because I feel like I'm just insulting him. To be honest with you, Theo, so I just try and bow out most of the time.
Now, there's some competitors, isn't there? SOLISTECH have recently launched the A1 fixture in the UK. That's distributed by Hyde Horticulture. Yeah. Gavita, distributed by Nutriculture.
We have been looking at the SOLISTECH stuff. Yeah. Quite interesting.
They're under test right now.
Yeah.
I've got one of our testers. He produces PDFs for us, and we'll find out how they're looking in the next few months.
To be honest, I don't know whether it's worth mentioning this now. I was going to talk about the Royal Rumble for the 100th edition.
Okay.
We'll start mentioning
25 episodes
away.
Yeah,
25 episodes away, so I hope you are listening. We want to have a Royal Rumble fight straight now. What's another word for it?
Barney.
Rubble.
Trouble.
Yeah. A bash.
Yeah. Beef.
I'll beat your ass, man! on here. So basically what we're trying to organise is a number of people, companies, who want to have an argument, face-to-face.
Live debate.
Get the balls out, put them on the line, sit in the seats, facing each other. So I'm talking might be Gavita against SOLISTECH. They're sitting there face to face, having it, and me and you will be in the middle, staring it up. Yeah, we'll be throwing in questions, and I'll have a couple of extra security on that day. Yeah. But we want you guys to have it. So who could have it?
Well, it's more than likely
we could have CANNA against Dutch Pro.
CANNA versus Dutch Pro. Gavita versus SOLISTECH. You could have Jay Fox and Jay from SANlight. Oh, yes, that'd be a good one.
Oh, we could have all sorts.
We could have Maxi Bright and Hydro Garden.
Yeah.
That would be a heavy one. We're going to get you all in the same room. We're gonna light the fire. We're going to light the torch.
Yeah, so if you want to have
a say
against your competitor.
Because if CANNA turns up and Dutch Pro don't turn up, CANNA just gets a rule of the day.
Yeah, so...
And they get their way.
Listen to what we're saying here. If you don't turn up for your celebrity death match, you're going to lose. So it's going to hurt your company severely. So don't just sit there and think, I'm not going to do that. Because we've already roped you in. You're in now. It's not like, I can't go and do that. Because if you don't, you're going to get tortured on podcast by your opponent. Yeah. And you won't be there to defend yourself.
I just thought of another one.
What?
AutoPot versus Aliens AutoPot.
That's it, that one, that'll be
AutoPot versus Aliens gravity fed system.
Yeah, that'll be good. That would,
gloves off for that one.
That would definitely.
So I know Dan will be here. Let's see if...
Shall we have IWS against Multiflow?
Yes.
Oh!
Can you imagine it? Yeah. We could have Spectrum King versus Budmaster.
Yeah, definitely. That will be good.
I think you might need to spend some money on security, though. It's going to go off.
Yeah, we could even have a triple. We could throw Kind LED in there.
Oh, Lord, just fuck them wankers.
Yeah, well, they'll just throw the towel in after one goal. Yeah. After the first round.
They'll probably send a refurbished rep. They won't send a new rep out. They'll send the refurbished rep in place of the new reps that they haven't got anymore, because they're all shit. We're going to come up with a few more.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Anybody listening out there and you want to see the Royal Rumble Celebrity Death Match?
Plug and Grow Timers versus every other timer.
Oh.
Yeah. I reckon they do that. That would be like a 3-on-1, 4-on-1. I reckon he'll have it now. He will.
Yeah.
Who else? There's Highlights CFL bulbs versus Eden CFL bulbs.
Yeah.
And we'll just have them all in the room arguing.
Yeah.
We're going to have to buy some more microphones.
Yeah, we'll get some more mics. I'll bring the Riot Shield over from the other shop.
Yeah.
And that'll be good. Another grow shop wants to have it against us. Main competitor. Anyone who doesn't like us, let's have it. Royal Rumble time. 100th episode. We want it to be hardcore.
A doozy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're a grow shop out there and thinks, I am fucking sick to death of listening to these Scouse gets, I want to get up there and tell them straight to his face, you talk a load of crap. Get up here. Love it.
Say it straight.
Come on.
Tell it straight.
Don't know whether you'll be going home in one piece, like, but, you know, it'll be a hell of a show.
It will. So be prepared. That's what's coming. For
magazines, you know. For you've got the magazines, so we could have
Pete versus Eric.
Oh, a bit of
Who else?
That we were talking about garden culture versus
Hydromag.
Yeah, or maximum yield.
Maximum yield. Or we could have a freeway fucking tag team.
Now,
match.
them girls at maximum yield, you don't want to mess with them.
No,
because they'll
fucking rip your eyes out.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So that could be the magazine war,
right? HID.
Okay.
Spectrum King. Okay. I'm going to let you take this one away.
Interesting subject, this one.
Been an interesting week.
Oh yeah, it was a bit of a what's the word? Cheesed me off just a little bit. Basically, what I'm talking about is, you know, we go out of our way to test stuff. Yeah, we promote stuff. Yeah. My team, dedicated team, second to none. They work their asses off, and they don't just do that when they're in work. They do it at home as well. I know Stephen, for instance, doesn't finish sometimes his research till late hours in the morning. So my team are dedicated, especially when we decide we're going to stock a product, because we've done some research, particularly you. We
can't just stock shit products.
No, exactly.
It'll give us a shit name.
So Spectrum King, you've heard podcasts, you've heard us talk about it. I don't need to harp on about it. It's an LED, very good LED. That's not the issue. We had an issue with the company.
Yeah.
I.e., they loaned us, or gave us, a Spectrum King to test, and they gave us it for 3 months, which we had in store, and still have it in our store, but it's not on display at the moment.
Got to be 100% truthful, though. It was, I can remember signing the sale or return, but it was me. I got confused, because lots of companies give you stuff on sale or return, and when you promote the product and you sell lots of it, they just tend to leave you with it. That's what's always happened. So,
and in all fairness as well, a lot of companies don't like to give stuff out because shops take it and sell it.
Yeah,
basically lie to the distributor, say, oh yeah, I'm going to test all that, and then sell it, put the money in the pocket.
Yeah.
We have never done that.
Never will.
Never will, because that doesn't work. That didn't put us where we are today. It didn't make us a respected shop. Testing products and having them on display is how ourselves and our customers feed their imagination and mind and educate themselves and then decide on whether they want to invest into that product or not through our investment, i.e. promotion, research and sales. So I comes into work and I finds out that we have to send our Spectrum King back, and I'm like, what? So I've got to take me Spectrum King out off display, that I talk about all the time to everybody and whatever.
And as a focal point of the shop.
Yeah, and that we're constantly using. It's in the summer. It's in its time of when I want to test it. When did we get it? We got it in bloody winter.
Yeah.
So it's sweating its balls outside, and you want to take me Spectrum King away when I'm testing it at its most prominent time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we boxed it up because they probably thought of sold it anyway. Nah, wrong. I'm not like all of the other divvy shops. So I've got Spectrum King boxed it all up, and I says, okay, we'll give Spectrum King back, but I tell you what, you're going to have to pay the invoice for my staff's research and promotion and all of my internet and the Facebook and media that I've invested into Spectrum King, which I'm telling you now is
a considerable amount.
Yeah, is in probably 3 figures, 4 figures.
Yeah. The Spectrum King have got a single document about 80 pages long, all technical stuff. Took me weeks and weeks to get through it, just so I was making sure I was at the pinnacle of knowledge and I knew every little nuance within the light.
And we're doing podcasting, we're doing other various things, which is very, very time consuming, which I don't mind, so long as that we're using a very good product that we agree on, which we still agree on. The product is very good, but not only that, we have to do business with good companies. You've heard me do podcasts in the past where there's been good products, but we haven't got the aftercare that we require.
Yeah.
Not into that. Jog on.
Yeah.
You know, seriously, because my job is to safeguard for customers. I'm not asked about me. I'm asked about me customers. Without me customers, I'm not even a business. I'm back in the dole queue. Yeah. So the moment we forget where we come from is the moment it's finished. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, you can't just do that. It doesn't work like that. You're going to take all of that off and then go, so what are you going to do with this second-hand Spectrum King now? Go and give it to another shop and let them do all of their promotion, and then you'll take it off them and pass it all around the UK? Nah. However, Paul, excellent sales rep, he's then gave us the Spectrum King for
12 months.
12 months,
Yeah.
which allows me, which, to be honest, I only wanted it an additional 5 months, because then I had it for 1 year.
For the summer.
Yeah, they didn't know that, right? I wanted it for 12 months. That's an adequate test. It's 4 seasons in the UK. Yeah, we don't just have one environment, we have 4 seasons.
Cold, freezing cold, hot and fucking hot.
Yeah. So now I'm happy, aren't I? Basically.
We're all happy.
Yeah, I like a big kid, spat me dummy out. But I'm not bothered, because we need to test this product. Simple as. Nobody else is doing it.
No.
So it's down to us. You should be thanking us, saying, "Is right, NPK, for wanting to test it." Yeah. You can have your product back once we've done our testing. You know we've got it there. You've seen it. It was packaged, ready to go. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good idea. Nice one, Paul. Thank you very much. You give us the Spectrum King for a further 12 months. So that means we will have tested it for
19 months.
19 months, which is ample. Which is ample, plenty of time. At the end of that term, if that one's still going, what am I going to say then, Paul? Fucking hell, it's still going after a year and a half. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? We haven't switched it off.
At all.
At all.
It stays on 24 hours. That's the test. Staying on 24 hours. You measure the power output.
And the temperatures that I was getting the other day was boss.
Yeah.
So why take it away in the pinnacle of my time? That's my point. I don't think he's got to understand what my point was. That was it. I want to test the arse of your product, and I'm doing it, and I'm happy with the test as well. So there's a bit of good feedback. I'm happy the way that you dealt with the situation, Paul. Big pat on the back to you, because if it wouldn't have been for you, I would have got a big cob on, like a big girl's blouse, stamp my feet, and that would have been that.
Just got upset.
Yeah, that would have been that.
Just for something relatively small.
Petty.
But watch the difference now. Now, Paul, I believe, has gone out on a bit of a limb, and because they don't really do that. They don't give out the LEDs on for 12 months, because they just don't do it. It's not with
probably because they can't afford to do it. Because if every shop,
there's 200 shops, 200 good shops,
200 good. I think there's
400,
500 plus or something in the UK, but none of them are like us.
No.
None of them test products like us. So why would you want to give it to all of them? Because they're just going to put it on display. They might have a better display cabinet, guaranteed is. There's some fancy shops out there, some really, really good shops. And they look better than our shop, some of them. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
And they've got some really fancy display cabinets. I ain't got no fancy display cabinet. I ain't got no fancy light pointing at it, showing it. What I have got, though,
it's fucking lovely plants.
Yeah, that's getting grown. That's what we're about, and that's what I'm saying to you guys. You know, it's not sitting there on a shelf going, "Ooh, look at this, $12.95, buy it now." No, it's not doing that. It hasn't even got a price tag on it. It's sitting in a grow room, growing.
And I'd like to say as well, thank you to Paul for resolving that situation.
Yeah, thank you, big thank you.
We'll be paying you back.
Yeah.
Talking about big companies, do you want to just... We don't have cause some shit, don't we? Hydromag. They brought out the magazine 2 weeks ago. Our shop was in it, because we've always been a loyal supporter of Hydromag. Does advertising Hydromag get any more customers through the shop, honestly? Do you think feet through the door, not online, feet through the door, does it get more people into the shop? No. We did it because potentially online sales.
But not only that, because we like being part of the media.
Yeah, a UK grow magazine. We've supported it from the beginning, and we want to continue to support it because it's nice to have a UK hydroponics magazine.
We've supported a few magazines, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we still do.
And so for big companies to... within 1 week of publication or distribution, pull an advert of their shop from the magazine because they didn't want to advertise other shops in their shop, and you're supposedly one of the biggest shops in the UK,
Proper big
with the
babies,
biggest chain,
big gamey blouses.
and you didn't want to advertise all the other little minnows.
Oh.
You know, when you believe that you're the best shop in the world, you don't care what everybody else is
even
doing.
we don't even look at your website because we're just not interested in you.
I just think that was a really shitty move because you've made a very difficult job for somebody there. Real shitty move.
Ah, well.
And you've come to our attention, and we just laugh at you.
Yeah, we're just laughing at you.
You southern fairies.
So if you wanted to come down on our allotment and have a little look at how we get down, you know, it's booming with life grapevines, ample of fruits,
come down
blueberries, gooseberries, raspberries, cherries. Because I actually love fruit, by the way. That's why that's all my area. I don't bother with all the carrots and all that rubbish stuff because I don't eat none of it. So if you want to come down and see how NPK grow,
testing,
yeah, feel free. Anyone, any shop, any competitor, any distributor, anybody, your nan wants to just come and have some of me fruit, get it down here. Do you know what I mean?
Was that a secret code? Was it?
Now, if anyone's nan just wants to come down, just get them down.
Sound. Well, that's our half-time rant over. Hopefully. No, not hopefully. We've probably offended some people, but we're always open. Our email's always open.
You know what? You know, if you get offended, it's life.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not here to offend you. We're just bringing up points that some people don't want to mention because they're scared to mention or they think it's a grey area. We are like...
You don't want to rock the
boat.
You
know what we're like, me and you? The paparazzi, the reporters.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, look what they just gone and said now. Do you know what I mean? They can't say that. And you know what? We're just making a show out of something that we love. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about some rumours. We're talking about some, you know...
Published articles.
Yeah, you know, some theories. We're talking about some facts as well, loads of facts.
Why do we do it, though? What is the point?
Because I fucking love it, lad.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's passion. Hopefully what you can hear in the podcast is passion. We do it for free. This is probably going to be one of the longest podcasts that we've ever done. And hopefully you just get to hear the passion. We believe in talking about these things so that they become more open. There's less hidden agendas. There's less money making. There's just good quality products given out by great distributors, sold by brilliant shops to loyal customers.
And you know what? We've created a monster. Because I come into work today, and what did you tell me?
Lots of things.
Yeah.
I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah. You best not be. About another person who messaged him.
Ah, yeah. The guy from London.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called up the
Let's
other
give
day.
him a shout. We won't shout out his name, but big shout out to you down there, bro.
Yeah, he called up the shop, asked for some advice, gave it to him, as we would do to anybody that calls a shop, whether you shop with us or not. And at the end he went, yeah, and keep up the good work with the podcast. And he hadn't mentioned the podcast up until now. I went, oh, didn't know you'd listened. He went, yeah, that's it. I've been off for 12 years and I've listened to your podcast and I just thought, fuck it. I'm just going to, let's go again.
So we inspired somebody to get going
again.
That's great. And that makes me inside happy.
Yeah,
proper
that's the whole
happy.
point of the podcast as well, isn't it? Get people.
And then what else did he say? Now this next point.
If he does this or if he doesn't do this, it doesn't
matter. And I'm going to make a point of this.
Yeah, but he did say he needs a few bits and he's going to make the effort to come up to the shop in Liverpool.
Now if he does make the effort, it's probably about a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
But what I will say to you as well, you don't have to come all the way to us.
No. Just the fact that
we don't do this show just for you to all come to our shop because some of you live far and wide, and yet we can do mail deliveries, but some of you probably have got a grow shop round the corner.
We do female deliveries.
But what we're trying to say is that, you know, at your grow shop, make sure they're dedicated like we are. Make sure they're asking all these questions. Make sure they're not just trying to sell you another product so they get another sale. You know, sales are good and we survive upon sales, but I won't take out your eyes to piss in the holes, let me tell you. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we're just a bit different. And if you're not getting that service and you do want to come and see us, by all means. But if not, you know.
We're here. We're always here.
Yeah, we're always here. And I was just really pleased that the guy even listens to the podcast. And the fact that he says he's getting back into his ground because of us. Now, that makes me happy.
Just makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds. Do you want to finish off the lighting? Now, our half-time break was looking probably longer than the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, it was.
Where were we up to? Ceramic metal halides. We're going to try and get this done in a short amount of time. I won't blab on, I won't drone on.
Well, ceramic metal halides, I want to be honest,
technology.
it's new. I don't really know much about it. I just know it's there. I can't see any more light at the end of the tunnel or any additional light at the end of the tunnel than what I already have with my 600 watt HPS.
Okay.
So I'm still on the same.
Skeptic.
Yeah.
So ceramic metal halides, they're either called CMH or CDM, which is a ceramic discharge metal halide. So the same, two different words, same product at the end. Similar to a metal halide, but it uses ceramic, as in the name, instead of the quartz, which get used in the standard metal halide. The difference with these guys is that the ceramic allows higher arc tube temperatures, and then the manufacturers claim that this is better efficiency, better colour rendering index, and better stability of the bulb. So I think with some of the most popular CMHs, the 315 CMH, I know MaxiGrow do them. Put two of them together, and they say that you'll have far superior yields, quality, taste, aroma, flavour over just a single 600 watt bulb. More true to a sun spectrum as well. So ceramic metal halides, I don't know how long you guys in the US have been using them for. Send us some messages with how you've been getting on.
Yeah, give Steve some help, because he just sounds like another one of these sales reps talking a lot of rubbish to me. You know, I'm still backing my HPS here, 50 quid kit. Unless any of you guys in the US, because I know you're big into all this stuff, fire us some emails or some abuse telling us, right, you guys, you haven't got a clue, you're still in the dark ages, blah, 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 etc. So let us know.
Yeah. We have mentioned this on the podcast before, but also we were talking before about the Kelvin scale and metal halides. These new bulbs, 10,000 Kelvin metal halides.
This part of the light diet, Solistech.
Solistech are going to be the ones that really bring it to the UK, I feel. But 10,000 K bulbs have been in the US for a little while now.
Okay.
They're used at the end of flowering to stress the plant out a little bit. Stressing the plant out means that it produces more oils, more aromatic flavours, and just produces a better product at the end. Still haven't been able to test them properly ourselves because you're not allowed to dim them down, and for whatever reason we needed to dim down in some of our tests, so we couldn't test them properly yet, but we will get to it. But the guys in the US, I believe, from all forums, are loving them. Solistech A1 fixtures, they're bringing out the light diet. We're actually going to be talking with Solistech properly in a few weeks or a few months' time. They're going to tell us, go in depth on the light diet, light nutrition, and the fact that at different stages of the plant's growth, they need different types of light. We'll be talking about the Kelvin scale, because it goes from all the way from like 4,000 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin, and you swap and change your bulbs depending on what stage the plant is in. And that's that with ceramic metal halides. And the last one to finish off is LEDs. Can we keep it short? Can you keep LEDs short?
No.
There was two LEDs for people that are sceptical before you even manage to get up there. You're not even going to get the chance to get me on the ropes on this one. 3, 4, 5 years ago, LEDs got a bad name because they followed something called the McCree curve. Now, McCree was published data to show that the spectral distribution of what a light needs to produce for photosynthesis. There was big points on red and there's big points for blue. LED manufacturers saw this research, didn't really understand it, I feel, and produced LEDs that had red lights and blue lights. Great for veg, terrible for flowering, because as we know, plants need a lot more light than just red and just blue. That gave LEDs a bad name. Now, every LED manufacturer that understood the science and tried to produce LEDs that would grow good plants struggled against these LEDs that just produce reds and blues. So you've got your BudMasters, you've got your Spectrum Kings, you've got your kind of LEDs, even though the aftercare was shit. We'll always say that on every podcast. You're not getting away with it. And you've got a few other LEDs that we're testing now. They've got an uphill struggle because although the technologies really get close to getting there, the efficiencies are getting up there, the amount of wattage that they're drawing from the wall is getting there, the prices probably starting to come down. There's an uphill battle against that bad stigma. Try and forget that bad stigma, because the guys that are doing it now, your Spectrum Kings and your BudMasters, they've got the technology. They're doing really well. One thing that I found interesting, and I'll probably leave it on this point unless Thomas wants to ask any questions or be sceptical against LEDs, is you've got your red and you've got like your purpley LEDs. Budmasters can produce quite a purplish light, but I know Paul behind Budmaster he's like a super scientist when it comes to lighting. He's gone in depth. You want to follow him on Facebook. If you're into LEDs, buy his LEDs because they are good. He produces though a purplish light, and then people might get confused with Spectrum King, who produce a white light, and they're like, why is it the difference? Well, with the white light produced by Spectrum King, it's because of a phosphor coating within the LED. So what they have is this is what I believe to be true. Could be wrong, so I'm sure I'll be picked up on it by Paul if I'm not. They produce a specific wave of blue, a blue wavelength out of the LED. It hits the phosphor coating, and the light that is emitted is blue. Some of the blue passes through the phosphor coating. Some of it charges the phosphor, so it emits a yellowish light. And when those two colours combine, it produces a white light. But the important factor is that the spectrum, the distribution of light, is very even across all the colours, and it's without all that science bullshit. Thomas the Skeptic, we've seen people use them. They've got good results. They work. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, here's one for you then.
Okay.
How many watts does a 600 watt LED draw?
Different amounts depending on the manufacturer.
How much energy does it save compared to my £50 HPS kit? Is it half the power?
Your good ones, okay. So your good LEDs.
Oh, the best you can think of.
Spectrum King, the 440 plus draws 440. The 400 plus, I think it's called. Draws 440 watts from the wall.
Okay, that sounds expensive.
The deliver, according to the sheets, close to 1,000 watts. I would say, personally, from what our testers have come back with, is it's a really, really high quality 600 watt bulb. So I would never say to customers the 400 is equivalent to a 1,000 watt bulb, because that's not what I've seen through testing. What I've seen is that the 400 Spectrum King is above and beyond what a 600 watt bulb can do. Then they've got the lower one, which is the 300 plus.
But how much is it going to cost you in electricity? Because everyone keeps saying to me, oh, well, these LEDs...
So, yeah, the good ones do save you money. Your Budmasters and your Spectrum Kings have put that much science into their lights that they've become efficient enough for what they draw from the wall to actually put out, in inverted commas, 600 watts worth of light.
Okay.
The cheap ones, let me talk about Kind again, because although Kind weren't cheap, Kind did work well. But the K5 1000 draws 630 watts from the wall, 30 watts for the fans to turn on the top, and the lamps, the LEDs, draw 600 watts. So towards the end of when we were selling them and we were doing this, we were getting to the end of our testing, we were like, so this £1,000 LED draws 600 watts from the wall and delivers effectively what a 600 watt bulb would deliver. So the only benefit that you're getting from this LED is that it'll last you 4 or 5 years, so we thought. And it runs cooler.
Days.
Yeah, and it runs cooler. Do you want to spend £1,000 on a light that just runs cooler and should last you for 5 years? Probably not. But Budmaster and Spectrum King, they are more efficient.
You say, would you want to spend a light that runs cooler? I think that's a key feature.
Yeah. I
think that's the key feature. I think that's the one thing that I would buy into.
But then we've also got to accommodate. That's great. That's the main feature for LEDs, is that they run cooler. But what they always put in the marketing is that they will save you money because they draw less from the wall.
I don't believe that.
90% of LEDs don't.
And that was my point I was trying to make then. I don't believe they do.
No. It's only the really, really good quality LEDs. There's more out there than what I mentioned with regards to Budmaster and Spectrum King. They're the ones that we've tested. They're the ones that we know that work. I am sure 100% that there's more out there, but we haven't tested them. Again, get us emails if you think you are one of those companies.
We have got a large... Let's just mention, again, the list of LEDs we have under test right now.
Okay. One of them is a secret. We're not allowed to mention it. It's a secret LED.
Okay.
because it's early trials. And
Is that the one that's just been delivered the other day?
Yeah, that's a confidential test, that one.
Okay.
But we have Balloon Boss, which was delivered from America because of this podcast to our shop.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It went straight out.
Did it?
The day it arrived, we
I
got it
haven't
out
even
on
seen
test.
that,
Yeah.
little sneaky gets.
It looks...
See, this is how sneaky the testing is. I haven't even seen the light that we're testing.
It came through Nutriculture.
Okay.
And we'll be testing.
Yeah, that was due to that email that we got, Weenie, through podcast.
Through podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So that came from Elka. That's on test now. That is...
So that's Balloon Boss.
Yeah. We have Razor, which are the really thin LEDs.
That's the two super thin LEDs. I tell you what, I was a bit confused when I opened them because I set them up. I opened the packaging to put the... They have their own like hangers to hang them up.
Yeah.
Very impressed by them.
Yeah.
It was a bit fiddly.
Yeah.
I had to look at the instructions, but you know, once you put them on, dog's bollocks. So I for the innovation, that's a 10 out of 10 for on the Razor Light. We still got it in test.
Well, he actually phoned me a few weeks ago and he said, first impressions. I said, first impressions, really light, really nice LEDs. I said, but the hanging mechanism, once you got it on, phenomenal, really, really good ingenuity. But for people who were for people like me who just can't do DIY, I'd have really struggled if yourself and Rick hadn't been around. Yeah. I'd have probably been there for about an hour. And he went, you know what? He said, that has been mentioned before, so we're going to go back, still keep the same mechanism, but find a way of making it.
Well, yeah, top tip
better.
for you, bit of feedback for you, because I loved the rope ratchety thing that he's got going on. It's nifty and it's strong as hell. It's like that cable wire. The only problem was when we opened it, you've got to put this bolt thing through and slide this other component on, and that was the confusing bit. Yeah. If he has them installed already and you just have to attach the cable with its fixing, piece of piss, easy peasy, job done. So there's a bit of positive feedback for you already. Who else have we got? Budmaster, obviously. Spectrum King, obviously. Kind.
Although, we're pretty much done with Kind.
Yeah, but even though we slate Kind,
we still test it.
It was a very, very good product. It produced perfectly. However, the only issue that we have with Kind, and we want Kind to constantly hear this, what we're saying, because we're not in any way saying your product's bad. We're just saying the aftercare, the life cycle of the light wasn't there. Probably put it back into testing for a bit yourselves. You know, figure out these little issues, get them solved, and get it back.
When there are issues, don't send refurbished units out.
No.
The customer is the key. You don't want to piss them off when they've just spent £1,100 on a single light.
And then you're leaving us to deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
You can't get in touch with us because you're in California asleep.
Yeah.
Come on, sort that out, and you might get a second chance in the UK.
Definitely will. You will. I'm telling you now, you will get a second chance because I like the product.
Yeah, but if they leave it too long, your Spectrum Kings and your Budmasters and your Razors and your Balloon Bosses potentially are going to hit the market. The customers are going to take it.
And we've got Mars as well.
Mars Hydro.
What's the other one we've got? SANlight.
SANlight.
I tell you what, see that SANlight? It's a tiny dot, and you want to see the spread of light on it. I'm talking this light is no bigger than the palm of my hand.
Is it the one with the really big heat sink?
Yeah. Now, if you notice that heat sink, what it's got, it's sort of skanked a bit like from Spectrum King, but I've had that light for over a year.
Yeah.
I got that a long time ago, and it's only got two bulbs in it, and they're tiny.
I think are they called cobs, I think?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's diodes or cobs. Diode for single light emitting diode, obviously, and then a cob.
Well, I spread the light from that. I'm thinking, oh my God, if there was a bigger version of that, it would blind you. Interesting. We've been testing that for a while, but not on anything of big significance. We just had beetroots and stuff like that under it. But we are changing that, and we've just got some new stuff to put in.
But the big trials of the LEDs start in the summer. Obviously, we can't.
No. We didn't have all of this range last year. Now we've got the range. So not only are we testing... This is to all of you, so you may as well listen to this because it's key. We've collated all of your LEDs. This is what we've done. This is how we think as a company. I've spent time collecting your LEDs, and I've just named all of them, who we've got. We nearly had one less, but we spoke about that issue, and we still got you. Yes, you are still in the fight because we are pitting all of yous against one another. I know we didn't say that to yous, but that's what we're doing. And we're testing what yous are all about. And you know what's funny? You've all got different features. You're all about a little bit something different. So, let the games begin. Which they have well and truly, and we are testing away.
A hydroponic Game of Thrones.
But now we've got them, and it's this temperature here is absolutely mental outside. So this is when we needed to test them, and that's what we're doing. Because we only got, I think the last one we got was only last week, wasn't it? So now we've got the whole collection. We've got 9, have we?
It's around that figure,
Yeah.
And there's still time if you want to get one sent to us. There's still time.
I haven't really heard of many other different ones on the market. We've got all of the main, all the heavy hitters, and some of the little stragglers that are nipping at the heels.
The HP4S.
Oh,
Not to mention the
you never mentioned that.
HP4S.
We had to take the lens off that, didn't we? So straight away, we get this light in, HP4S, big massive box. You pull it out, it looks like a big spaceship. And we put it in, and they're saying, right, you put it in a 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
We put it in, switched it on. There's no bloody light there. I'm thinking, what's going on here? It's like dead dull.
Yeah.
So we've unscrewed the lens cover off it and sort of threw that on the floor. And you want to see the spread of light now. So we've done something to a light to see what the gain is, because we instantly notice something. That's what we do. If we think it'll be better if we kick it down the floor, around the warehouse 10 times, we're going to do that. That's what we do. We're innovative ourselves, and if we feel like one of your lights isn't working its best, and we give it a better crack of the whip in a different environment with different set of plants, we will do that as well.
Yeah. One that we haven't got that I would really, really like to have.
You tell me.
Heliospectra.
Never heard of it.
I noticed it because it was on AutoPot. Jason at AutoPot's got one testing at
Where's
AutoPot
it from?
headquarters. It's an American company.
Yeah, what's it called?
Heliospectra. It's like it looks like a Toblerone, like a smooth Toblerone.
Okay.
But the reports back from AutoPot is that they're really, really happy with the Heliospectra. That's one that we're missing. I'm going to actually...
Let me also say, because we've tested some already and we've kicked out the bucket. So the red and blue one, it was probably 1 metre long by 1/4 metre wide. It had a big red and blue light. If you see any of them, don't buy them. They are crap. They are wall heaters. They will make your room very, very hot, risk of going on fire, and won't produce any good growth whatsoever. Stay away from it. Probably about £150 to £200. They're on eBay. They have a black casing with a number of red smaller LEDs in a circle and a number of blue LEDs in a circle. Do not buy that product. We have tested it and it is very, very bad. If you have it in your grow room, I suggest you unplug it now, get it and throw it in the backyard over the wall.
Yeah.
So it smashes when it hits the floor. We have also tested agro lamps. Yeah. Tiny, look like spotlights for outside your house. What was the colours we had? Purple and red, was it? Grew plants. A bit straggly. Didn't produce any flowers. Some did, some didn't. Then we got distortion with the leaf. Not a good product.
No.
I wouldn't waste your time. So forget about that.
Points to round up LEDs. There's a hell of a lot of science.
Oh, tube LED, sorry.
Tube LED.
Tube LED. We had a series of them. So they were touching on CFL, LED, tube, long
like the type
thing.
that you'd put on to grow like lettuce in there.
It was just terrible. It looked nice.
Good for like the microgreens and leafy green vegetables that don't flower.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit of supplemental.
But if you need any intensity or you want to make things swell quite a bit,
give them a miss.
Nah, forget all this crap stuff, cheap rubbish.
There's a lot of science that goes into LEDs, and believe me, a lot of science. I haven't even been able to... I've got about 6 different sheets here. I've taken a picture, doing a little... We did a video on the way here on Instagram of all the documents that we've got by Philips and all kinds. There's a lot of data and information. If it seems too good to be true, and the manufacturer's claims, it usually is.
But if someone out there has got this LED that they've paid £8 for, and it grows 1,000 plants, and they're unbelievably massive and healthy, and it uses no electricity, and you can put it in your pocket. It has it's wireless and it's Bluetooth and it even plays music to your plants. If you've got one of these, let me know, because I really want one.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to discuss? We've probably touched about 5% on lighting, haven't we?
No, I wouldn't even. That
even
was a bold statement. That's the 1%. 1%. We've just covered just some
little bits,
intricate questions and
things to get you asking questions.
Yeah.
Go and do some more research. If there's anything that you didn't understand on the podcast because we didn't have time to go into too much detail, Google it or send us an email. I'll always like sending emails back to people that are talking about anything to do with lighting and growing in general. So get in touch. That was a long one. Well, if you've got to the end, well done.
Congratulations, because you must be exhausted listening to that.
You deserve a 10% off discount.
Yeah, from this shop, we can have 10% off.
Thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate all you guys that listen and subscribe and send us your messages and your phone calls.
We love your messages. Their messages just make us even worse.
Yeah.
You
come back with more fire in our belly.
Yeah, that's exactly what you create. You're creating a demon with every message that you send to us.
Yeah. If you're thinking also that these podcasts are getting a little bit too long, we have got a plan in place to record them, video record our podcasts. That will be coming soon. Hopefully,
we've been saying this for ages.
October.
I know we've been saying it for ages, but we've got a lot of shit on our plate.
Yeah.
Simple.
It will be coming soon.
But what I will tell you is we have built a separate recording studio next door. That's built, it's completed, and it's ready. We just haven't had much time to do recording. So we have been doing stuff while we've been saying, oh, we're going to do it, we're definitely going to do it. We have been doing stuff. So bear with us.
Yeah, it will be coming soon, and it'll hopefully be a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more interactive for you guys that can't sit there and listen to a podcast for an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you very much for getting to the end. Really appreciate it. Get onto the Facebook. End of the month's podcast is listeners' questions time, so it's hydroponic question time. There's a Facebook post, there's a prize for the best questions. Get your questions into us. If you don't enter, you don't get a chance of winning a prize.
And all you guys out there, don't forget the Royal Rumble, distributors, grow stores,
anybody
wholesalers,
involved.
Anybody.
It's episode 100. 25. We're going to do a countdown. 25 episodes time. It's on.
Even if we've got 2 listeners, 2 good pals, and he thinks he's better than his mate, he thinks he can grow better onions than him, and he wants to tell him, say, listen, see that stuff you've been using is crap, right? My onions are better than yours. You just want to get on here and have it with each other. Get on here.
Yeah, we're opening it up for debate.
Yeah.
It's fight time.
Fight time.
We'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And the best thing is, our fight time isn't on pay-per-view, and it's not at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can listen to it whenever you want, and it's free of charge.
Bonus.
Boom.
Thank you for listening, guys. We'll be back next week. I hope you've enjoyed. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.